What's up, guys? Welcome to the Drunken Ship Podcast, episode 27. It's a Halloween episode, so should be a treat for you guys. We're currently
It's a
on...
Halloween episode? I thought we were just,
normal.
vibing.
Yeah. Good news. We're actually on Apple Podcast now, so someone can clap for that for you.
Yeah.
Woo!
And we're on Spotify.
You're currently on Spotify and Apple Podcast now, so you have some good hosting sites for us to view at or listen
We
to.
got our fingers in all the pies.
We upload every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, so it's a new date for you guys.
That's the new time.
So let's start the show. We're starting now.
Cool.
It's a spooky theme episode, guys. Dun dun dun.
You know, this is in my 3 years of podcasting, and I've never done a specifically Halloween episode before.
How long have you been recording, actually?
I did for film's sake for like 3.5 years.
3.5.
And then I took a break, and then I make podcasts for other people, but I haven't been in a podcast myself. I'm wearing no pants, and I just took my socks off, so that's why I don't have a camera yet, Crockett.
That's the scariest costume.
Yeah, the scariest thing about today is that I have absolutely no pants.
Are you home? We should not in public. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes it's a party. But I guess today we're just doing like spooky stuff.
Yeah, just spooky stories.
Yeah.
Bring what happened to your
spooky
life, spookies or something. Movies.
Mysterious, spooky.
It's a haunted podcast.
Literally.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
What's up?
I can't wait to listen to
Bryan,
this on fucking Apple.
What about Apple?
It's gonna sound so clean.
What?
You gotta edit it to make it sound clean, though.
Yeah.
Well, Tate did a great job because the last podcast we just uploaded, it sounded so fucking nice.
Yeah, tastes good. Tastes a good man. Gotta take out the
No,
katana.
you gotta leave the sword on. Come on.
No,
The sword stays on during sex.
Does the mask stays on, Crockett?
No, this is stabbing me in the neck so bad right now.
It's red right there.
I was gonna. I'll leave the wig on, but the mask can chill out. Actually, can I put the mask right here on my?
Costumes
Yeah.
off,
Put it on
boys.
my-
Put it on your mic.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, let's put it like.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go.
That looks insane.
God, look at my neck. Look at.
Oh my god.
It's so red, where it was like stabbing me in the neck.
You got a vampire right
God.
there.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, you guys are right. This is a very kinky mask.
It is. It's a gimp mask in disguise. That's what it is. Anyway, so since we're doing the spooky stuff, Crockett's got some haunted house shit that has been happening in his apartment.
Yeah, my apartment's haunted.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear that. And then Colin's got a little story. I don't know what the fuck Tay has, but
I'm just following off what people says.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Well, I have a little
Yeah, I'm just browsing the subreddit right now. That's really it. Trying to find some spooky stuff, some little short sound
trying to
bites.
find some little spooks. Some
Just
little
go
bookies.
crazy in this podcast. I think of something.
Go crazy.
But Bryan said he had a story. I think he should start first if he wants to start.
Yeah, I got it. It's a little read. I don't know how long it'll take me to read, but we're fucking going through. It's called "Something Walks Whistling Past My House Every Night at 3:03 a.m."
When ghosts wake up.
It is submitted 11 months ago by someone called Grand Theft Moto, and it was nominated for the scariest story of 2019 in the subreddit. So,
Question.
Oh, wow.
What's the last time he posted?
what is the last time this man posted?
Make sure he's still alive.
he posted the last thing he posted is like, I hear something outside.
What was that story?
Yeah, it's like just a blurry picture.
Yeah, he posted actually an hour ago, and he's writing a book. He's publishing
Oh, sweet.
a book. So
Promoting his book.
Nice.
shout out to him. Yeah, Grand Theft Moto. Tell you, put his name up on the screen somewhere.
Grand Theft Moto.
Yeah,
Grand Theft Moto.
Grand Theft Moto. So anyway, here it is. Something walks whistling past my house every night at 3:03 a.m. Every night, no matter the weather, something walks down our street whistling softly. You can only hear it if you're in the living room or the kitchen when they walk by, and it always starts exactly at 3:03. The sound starts faint, somewhere near the beginning of the lane near the Carson place. We're towards the middle of the street, so the whistling moves past us before fading away in the direction of the cul-de-sac. When I was younger, my sister and I would sneak into the kitchen some nights to listen. Mom and Dad didn't like that, and we'd catch hell if they found us there, but they were never too hard on us since we always stuck to the one big rule. Don't try to look at whatever was whistling. My neighborhood is a funny place. I lived here since I was 6, and I love it. The houses are small but well kept, good-sized yards, plenty of places to roam. There are a lot of other kids here my age. I turned 13 back in October. We grew up together and would always play foursquare in the cul-de-sac or roam around from the back porch to back porch in the summer. This was a good place to grow up. I'm old enough to see it, and there's only the two strange things here: the night whistling and the good luck. The whistling never bothered me much. Like I said, I couldn't even hear it from my bedroom. But Mom and Dad didn't like talking about it, so I've stopped asking questions. My dad is a strong guy, tall and calm. He has an accent since he moved to the U.S. as a kid. His family, my grandparents, they're from the islands. That's what they call it. My dad, the only time he isn't so calm is if the whistler comes up. He talks a little quicker then, eyes move faster, and he tells us not to think about it so much and to always remember the one rule, the big rule. Don't try to look outside when the whistler goes past. Not that we could look even if we wanted. See, there are shutters on the inside of every window, thick pieces of heavy canvas that pull down from the top and latch to the bottom of the window frame. Each latch even has a small lock, about the size of what you'd find in a diary. My dad locks those shutters every night before we all go to bed and keeps the key in his room. My mom, I don't know what she thinks about the whistling. I've seen her out in the living room before at 3:03 when the sound starts. I could see her if I cracked my door open just an inch to peek. She's not out there often. At least I haven't caught her much. But once or twice a month, I think she sits out there on her big red couch just listening. The whistler has the same tune every night. It's cheerful. Da-da, da-da-da-da, done. Remember how I said there are two odd things about where I live? Well, besides her night whistler, everyone in my neighborhood is really lucky. It's hard to explain, and Dad doesn't like us talking about this part much either. But good things just seem to happen to people around here a lot. Usually it's small things, winning a radio contest or getting an unexpected promotion at work. Or finding some arrowheads buried in the jar, the authentic kind. The weather is pretty good, and there's no crime, and everybody's gardens blooms extra bright in the fall. A million little blessings. I've heard my mom say about living here, but the main reason we stay here, we moved here in the first place, is my sister Nola. She was born very sick, something with her lungs. We couldn't even bring her home when she was born, only visit her in the hospital. She was so small, I remember, small even compared to other babies. A machine had to breathe for her. We moved into our house here to be closer to the hospital. As soon as we moved here, Nola started getting better. The doctors couldn't figure it out. They chalked it up to whatever they were doing, but we all could tell they were confused. But my parents knew, even I knew. Nola getting better was just another of the million little blessings we got for living in our neighborhood. So that's why we stayed, even after we found out that, for every small miracle that happens here every day, now and then some bad things happen. But that would only happen if you look for the whistler. See, our neighborhood has a welcoming committee. They show up with macaroni casserole and a gift basket and a manila folder whenever someone new moves in. They're very friendly. 4 people showed up when we moved in 7 years ago. The committee made small talk, gave me a Snickers bar, and took turns holding Nola. It was the first week out of the hospital, so they were extra careful. Then the committee asked to speak to my parents in private, so I was sent to my room where I still managed to hear nearly every word. The welcoming committee told my parents about how nice the neighborhood was, really exceptionally hard to explain kind of nice. And then they told my parents about the even harder to explain whistling that happened every morning at 3:03 a.m. and ended at the tick of 3:05. The group, our new neighbors, warned my parents that the whistling was quiet, would never harm or hurt us, as long as we didn't look for what was making the sound. This part they stressed, and I pushed my ear into the door, straining to hear them. People who, when looking for the whistler, had their luck change, sometimes tragically. A black cloud would hang over anyone that looked. Anything that would go wrong would. The manila envelope the committee The manila envelope the committee brought over contained newspaper clippings, stories about car crashes and ruined lives, public deaths, and freak accidents. Not everyone dies. I heard the head of the committee tell my dad. But the life goes out of them. Even if they live, there's no light in them ever again. No presence. My mom, I could tell she wasn't taking it seriously. She kept asking if there was some prank they play on new neighbors. At one point, my mom got angry, accused the committee of trying to scare us out of our new home, asked them if they were racist on account of my dad being from the islands. My dad calmed her down, told her she could tell her new neighbors were sincere and that they were just trying to help us. He explained that he grew up hearing these kind of stories from his mom and that he knew there were strange things that walked among us. Some of those strange things were good and some were bad, but most were just different. After the committee left, Dad went out to the hardware store, bought the canvas blinds, the latches, and the locks, and installed them on every window in the house after dinner. That first night in our new house, I crept out of my room at 3 a.m., only to find my dad awake, sitting on the living room couch, holding my baby sister. My dad held up his finger in a shh motion, but patted the couch next to him. I sat, and we waited. At exactly 3:03, we heard the whistling. It came and it went, just like our neighbor said. The whistling returns each night, and we never look, and we enjoy our million little blessings every day. Nola breeds on her own, and she's grown into a strong, clever girl. My dad even joined the welcoming committee. We don't get new neighbors often. Why would anyone want to leave? But when a new family moves in, my dad and the committee bring the macaroni casserole, a gift basket, and a manila folder. I can always tell by the looks on my dad's face when he comes back the family took the committee seriously, or if we'll be getting new neighbors again very soon. Not long ago, a family moved in directly next to us. The previous owner, Miss Maddie, passed away at age 105. She'd lived a good, long life. Our new neighbors seemed like they'd fit in just fine. They believed the welcoming committee, took my dad's advice about the locking shutters since they had a young child of their own. Whatever newspaper clippings were in that manila envelope, whatever evidence my dad never let us see, but I imagine it must have been awfully convincing since our neighbors got along with no issues for the first month. One night, when our new neighbor had to leave town, they sent their son, Holden, to stay with us. He was 12, a year under me in school. I didn't know him well before that night, but as soon as his parents dropped him off after dinner, I could tell it was going to be a bad time. Do you know who is always out there whistling every night? Holden asked the moment the adults left the room. The three of us were sitting in the den, some Disney movie playing idly on the television. My sister and I exchanged a glance. We don't talk about that, I said. I think it's that weirdo that lives in the big yellow house in the corner, Holden said. Mr. Tolles? My sister asked. No way. He's really nice. Holden shrugged. Must be a psycho killer then. Nola tensed up. We don't talk about it, I repeated. Let's go in my room and play Nintendo. We spent the next few hours playing games, eating popcorn and then watching movies. A typical sleepover, but I could see Holden was getting antsy. After my parents had wished us a good night, locked the blinds and gone to bed, Holden stood up from his beanbag and walked over to where Nola and I were sitting on my bed. Have you ever even tried looking? He asked. It's nearly time. Like most sleepovers, we conveniently ignored any suggestion of a bedtime. I was shocked to see that he was right. It was almost 3 a.m. I sighed. We don't... See, I can't even try to look, because my dad locks the blinds every night and hides the key. He continued, ignoring me. So does our dad, said Nola. No, replied Holden. No, he doesn't. You saw him do it, I said, a little sharper than I meant to sound. Holden grinned. Your dad locks the blinds, yeah, but he doesn't hide the key. He keeps it right on his normal keychain. So, I asked. Worried I already knew what he would say next, because I had noticed how my dad didn't bother hiding the keys anymore after all of these years, because he knew we took it seriously. So after your dad locked up, but before your parents went to bed, I went to the bathroom. Out of my way, I may have peeked into the room, and I may have seen your dad's keychain on his nightstand, and I maybe went and borrowed the keys to blinds. Noah and I stared at it, and his grin only grew wider. You're lying, I said. Holden shrugged. You can check if you want. Just open your parents' door and look. You'll see his keychain right there on the nightstand. Stay here, I told both of them. Don't move a muscle. I hurried over to my parents' room but hesitated at the door. If Holden wasn't lying, my dad would be angry, beyond angry. I was scared thinking about it, but more scared of an open window with the Whistler right outside. I opened the door, barely an inch, and looked in, but it was too dark to see. Taking a deep breath, I walked into the room. 2 steps into the dark, I froze. The whistling started, and I could hear it clearly from my parents' room. I never realized, but they must have heard the sound every night since we moved into the new house. They never told us. I don't think I could have slept through it. I stood there, listening to the whistling come closer, unsure whether I should turn on a light or call out for my dad. Soft sounds from the living room brought me back to reality. "Nola!" I yelled, running out of my parents' room. Holden and Nola were standing near the front door next to a window. Holden wasn't lying. I could see him fumbling with the lock on one of the blinds. I heard a click. He did have the key. Holden let out a quick laugh. Nola stood next to him, hunched up, afraid but maybe curious. The whistling was right outside our house now. I think I made a sound. Called out. I can't remember. Time felt frozen. Clock hands nailed to the face. But I found myself moving. I'm not fast. I've never been athletic. Somehow, though, I covered the space between myself and Nola in a moment. My eyes were locked on her, but I heard Holden pull the blind all the way down so it could release. I heard the snap of it start to race, and I heard the whistling just on the other side of the window. But I had my arms around Nola, and I turned her so she was facing away from the window, and at the same time I jammed my eyes shut. The blind whipped open. The whistling stopped. I felt Nola shaking in my arms. "Don't look, okay?" I told her. "Don't turn around." We were positioned so that she was facing back towards the hallway and I was facing the window. My eyes were still closed. I felt her nod into my shoulder. I reached out with the arm not holding Nola and tried to touch Holden. My hand brushed against his arm. He was shaking worse than Nola. "Holden?" I asked. Silenced. I reached past him and gingerly felt for the windows, eyes still shut. The glass was cold against my fingertips, colder than it should have been for the time of the year. I moved my hand up the window, searching for the shrink to the blind. The glass began to get warmer the further I reached, and there was a gentle hum feeding back into my fingertips. I tried not to think about what might be on the other side of the window. Finally, I touched the string and yanked the blinds shut. I opened my eyes. In the dim light leaking out from the kitchen, I could make out Holden, pale and small, staring at the now closed window. "Holden?" I asked again. He turned towards me and he screamed. Everything became a flurry of motion. Lights sparked to life in the hall, then the living room. My parents' footsteps thudded across the hardwood floor. I didn't turn to look back at them. My eyes were glued to Holden. He was pale, had bit his lips so hard there was a thin red line of blood running down his chin, and he had wet himself. "What happened?" my dad asked from behind me. I managed to swivel away from Holden and look back. He looked. I've never seen my dad scared before, but I saw it that night. In that moment, an old, ugly terror stitched on his face. A parent's fear. "Just Holden?" he mouthed to me. I nodded yes. My dad let out a breath. He looked so relieved that I nearly expected him to cheer. But then he turned to Holden, and my dad's face changed. I wonder if he felt bad for feeling good that Holden was the only one that looked. There was a knock at the door. We all froze. Holden whimpered. "Don't answer it," my mom said. She stood at the threshold of the hall. I'd always thought she was a skeptic and just humored my dad about the windows and the Whistler. But that night, we were all believers. I noticed that both of my parents held baseball bats they must have taken from their bedroom. The knock came again, a little louder this time. "Please don't open the door," Holden whimpered. My dad walked over to him, hugged him close. "We won't." My dad promised, still holding his bat. "Nothing is coming in here tonight." This time, the knocking was loud enough to rattle the door. Holden screamed again, and Nola clutched her arms around my neck. My mom came over. My mom came over and knelt down next to us, wrapping my sister and me close. "Call the police," my mom whispered to my dad. The knocking instantly stopped. My dad looked over his shoulder at us. "Do you think?" He was cut off by a frantic knocking that trailed off to a polite tap, tap, tap. "Police," said something from the other side of the door. The voice from outside sounded exactly like my mom, like a parrot repeating the words back to her. Police. Call the police. Tap, tap, tap. Police. My mom pulled us closer. Police, 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 police. Please stop,
Oh my God.
I heard her whisper. I don't think calling them would help, my dad said. How will we know when they're the ones at the door? The knocking came back harder than before. The door shook, then it stopped. After a long moment, I heard the knocking again, but it was coming from our back door. We all turned together towards the back door, but the knocking immediately returned to the front door. Front to back, back to front, loud, then quiet, then loud again. Suddenly, the sound was coming from both doors at once. Big, heavy blows like a sledgehammer. Then something started rapping against all of the windows in the house. Then the walls. It was like we were living inside a drum. It was like we were living inside a drum with a dozen people trying to play at once. Or we were a turtle and someone was attempting to claw us out of our shell. Stop, Holden yelled. The knocking died. I won't tell, Holden said, staring at the door. I promise I won't tell anyone what I saw. Just please go away. We waited for nearly a minute. Then we heard it. A soft tap, tap, tap coming from the window Holden had looked through earlier. Holden started to cry, sobbing like a prisoner watching gallows being built outside their cell. My dad held him, brushed his hair but never lied to him, never told him things would be okay. The tapping at the window went on for the rest of the night. We huddled together in the living room for I don't know how long. Eventually, my mom tried to take us kids into my room while my dad stayed to watch the door. But the second we moved into my bedroom, the knocking came back, so loud it was possible to ignore. I was afraid the door couldn't take it. We went back to the living room and the knocking stopped. Only the tap, tap, tap on the window remained. None of us slept that night. The tapping stopped around 7 a.m. That's about the time the sun comes up here. We waited another 2 hours before my dad opened the blinds from one window. He made us all go back to my parents' bedroom first. I heard him open the door, then come back in. Okay, he told us. It's done. Holden's parents came back around lunchtime. My mom and dad walked Holden over to his house, and they all went inside for quite a while. Nola and I watched from the window. She stuck to me the whole day, right at my side, sometimes holding my hand. When my parents came back, they looked grim, but wouldn't tell us what they said to Holden's family. It was a Sunday, so we all spent the day together, ordered pizza, and watched movies. That night, everyone slept in my room. Nola and my mom in the bed with me, my dad in a chair he'd pulled over. There was no knocking that night, or any night since. We didn't see much of Holden or his parents for the rest of that week, but by Thursday there was a moving truck in their driveway. Nola and I watched them packing up the whole afternoon after school. What sticks with me the most is how tired Holden and his parents looked. All three had the same pallor. Green mouths and lightless eyes. Even from across the street, I could tell something was very wrong. Holden and his family were gone before sunset. I remember what the original welcoming committee said to my parents when we moved in. Not everybody who looks at the Whistler dies, but even those that live have the light go out of them, and the rest of their lives are full of misfortune, a million little tragedies. I think Holden's parents must have looked, either to comfort him if they didn't believe or share the burden if they did. I'd watch Nola some days, happy and young and alive, and I wonder if I'd been slower, if she'd looked out the window that night, would I have looked too, to comfort her, to share that burden? I'm glad I don't have to find out. We still live in that house, in that neighborhood. We still hear a Whistler walking past every night. The blessings, the luck, the good things here are too good to leave. But we're careful. We don't have friends over to spend the night anymore. And my dad hides the key to the blinds very, very well. Not that I've gone looking. Some things you just don't need to look for. That's it.
Woo!
Nice.
Fucking thirsty.
I think I could listen to Bryan speak for fucking hours on end.
Yeah,
Like
you just
that'd be a
ASMR.
great like audiobook. Yeah.
Call his YouTube channel Bryan ASMR. That's what I'm calling.
I'm telling stories.
Yeah.
Glad it was
What was it from again? Reddit?
it's from a subreddit called No Sleep. I'm gonna share the link in the Discord so you can put it on the video.
Yeah.
Gorgeously little written short story. It was really good. The thing about short stories that I like is that they always like try to explain too much. This one,
Because it's short. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I want you to be scared, but I want you to understand the monster. And they spend 4 paragraphs explaining what's going on. But this one didn't. It was really pleasant.
It reminded me of that one super short scary story. It's like where like I think the kid sees his mom goes upstairs, and then hears his mom voice downstairs say, like, it's like come down here.
Yeah.
And then he hears his mom's voice from upstairs and he says, "Don't listen to that voice."
God, that would be terrifying. I
So
don't
you
know what I
know
would
what's
do.
in there.
Yeah.
Like, well, they don't know. He doesn't know which one to go to.
It's the pipes. I'll never forget. They still do sometimes. Whenever you quote unquote hear someone in your house, my parents just say that's the devil talking to you or something. Your parents do that?
Why the fuck would they tell you that?
I don't know. That's the devil trying to talk to you or
How the
something.
fuck would they tell you that? That's
don't
funny.
No, see, here's the thing. In Puerto Rico, the houses are made of fucking concrete. So it's not squeaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that back in Puerto Rico, but we had el cuco. And we had, like, if you walked outside too late at night, that someone, like a witch, would just straight up just yeet. And you would just be gone forever.
Just to snatch you straight up.
Yeah, just like, soinks. That's it. You were hurt.
Funny. Because I guess Jordan maybe can relate to. Just when you come from an old country town, there's so many stories back then that you don't know if it's true or not. Like they be saying some weird stuff. Like, I never forget my about 4 years ago, I just went to when I first went to AI, and my aunt picked me up, and she told me my great grandmother's sister used to do like voodoo and all that mess.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and she said something about like flies coming out her hand and all that mess.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Like
That's
Candyman?
like some Green Mile stuff.
I don't know. I was going home. I just like, what?
You just like turned to like, what? What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, so like I guess dark magic runs in my family. On that
Sim
side,
Sim
at
and
least.
Halabim, dude.
Yeah, but it's funny. Years ago, me and my cousin was playing outside at my grandma's house because they live right beside each other. My great grandma and her sister. All my family live on the same road. You look behind that house, between that house at least, but look in the woods. We saw a cross back there. Yeah, just like, huh?
Cross back in the woods.
Yeah, and we just continue playing. You're like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that was a clan member rally.
I don't know. Oh my god, no.
Jesus.
I read a
I don't
little.
know.
I read a little story the other day that someone had taken a field trip with their camp kids to camp in the woods, and they started hearing like church choirs singing, and like
Oh my.
Jesus.
just from in the distance. I couldn't figure out what it was coming from. He just said, yeah, there's like a church meeting somewhere, so like just go to sleep, it's fine, it's not creepy at all. And then like 3 days later, when they're like after they're gone home from the camping trip or something, the dude found out that there was a KKK rally like 3 miles away from them.
Oh my
Holy
god.
crap.
Like,
They have some weird
God.
names too.
yeah, they do.
They're like cosplayers. Like, guys, what are you guys doing? You're all like 40-year-old men.
The Grand Wizard.
Yeah.
The Grand it's
Isn't it like a
actually just
Cobra or
one
something?
big D&D match.
Yeah.
They're LARPing. They're all LARPing.
It's cosplaying for racist.
The
Yeah, for
Grand
racist.
Wizard. The Master Dragon.
They just sit around and play like an all white D&D.
Yeah. They're probably kids just thought about this. Like, let's make this reality. And it's like, oh.
Dude, the scariest thing that gets me in horror movies or anything is when you're in like a 2-bedroom house and you see a face on the window. Fuck that.
Oh, yeah. Anything like peeking at the window is fucking always like a terrifying thing.
Fuck it. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much that I'm working on a short film about that concept.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hate horror tropes. They're sometimes roll my eyes sometimes. Like, really?
Me too. Me too. You guys
So did you guys like, have you guys like I think we're majority other than Brian, we all grew up in the country, right?
For the most part.
Yeah, I was like.
So did you guys ever like live in any like creepy houses or anything like that?
No, but
Yeah,
we had
I
those
did.
stories of creepy houses in the winter. I went into one in the senior year.
Yeah.
One night, all my friends did. I went to a quote unquote haunted jail cell up in my town. It was like
Did
a
you-
chair
Haunted,
standing.
like, Like you have like an old timey jail cell in your town?
Yeah, and me and my two other friends went there late at night. I'm not sure we were supposed to be in there at late at night, around like 10 o'clock at night. And we walked in. We had to like crawl in, not crawl in, but like it was really hard to get in. But we got in and we walked in this room. There's this chair in the middle of the room with a letter on the floor. Nothing else.
Oh my god!
Just a letter.
Yeah.
What did the letter say?
Did you read it?
Did you read?
I
The
can't
letter?
remember what it said. I can't remember what it said. But I remember like an old paper look, like that brownish yellowish color.
Yeah, it
was
had
like,
been there for a while.
Like that with just a chair in the middle of the room.
If
And that's
you-
like a couple other
parchment.
rooms.
Damn.
Yeah.
If you sat down, like a ghosty noose would just fucking grab you.
Yeah.
They're probably got possessed. I never know till then. Never know. You know, it's probably still with me or today.
I had so like the first house I grew up in was like so it's a legit cabin in the woods.
Oh god.
It's
It's a dome.
well it is so my dad built it up on this huge fucking hill in the middle of Virginia. And so it's a massive hill, and the only thing looking down is like there's like houses like really far away from the house, and there's only like 3 or 4 houses, and then the rest of it's just mountain. And if you look in the backyard, it's just nothing but woods. And when it got night, I swear to God, it's the most terrifying place ever.
Yeah, dude. How do you
running.
how do you go to sleep
ahead.
knowing that there's anything that could come to your house and just fucking slaughter you? Like
I guess
when I was a kid, it was really hard for me to like go to sleep and stuff.
it was hard for you. For me, it was okay. I guess I used to it.
Well, but like when they started letting me like stay by myself at home at night, that's when my real imagination started coming alive. Because when you're like, I don't know, I think maybe 11 or 10 or like 11 or 12 or something, and like something could be just sitting out in the woods, and it's got a perfect view of you looking out the window, but you can't see shit. It's just pitch black.
that is
I
a
always
fucking
say like to people like, what if you open your blind at nighttime and something weird staring at you right in your face?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I
Something
swear to
looking right
God,
at you.
I will kill myself on the spot. I will fucking
Why would you kill
on the
yourself?
spot. I am dying.
There's someone like eyes looking at the exact same position you are in.
It's just like
I remember when I was a kid, I had this like closet, and so say my bed's like facing here, right? So let's say my bed's here. There was a 2-door closet like right here. It's one of those sliding ones where it's like you just like pull them apart. It wasn't like on any kind of like, it wasn't like a door or anything. It was just kind of like just almost like plywood or something, some kind of like flimsy material. But I used to have, I don't know why, but I always had this fucking weird feeling that something was just staring out from my closet at me, because you could stand in the closet if you wanted to, and just you could see through it, because there was like just, it was like shutters. That's the way it was like designed. And I would fucking always just kind of like, I would be laying on my side, and it would just be in the corner. And I was like, there's something in there. I had this weird fucking sense something was like standing in there watching me. And I definitely couldn't sleep if it was fucking cracked open.
you have to like fucking slam that shit shut.
Oh my God, dude. It would frustrate the shit out of me. And I was like, I always had this fucking weird, eerie feeling something was watching at me. It's like, when I couldn't sleep, that's when I felt like something was watching me. When my body would not just tone down itself, that's when I had these feelings, these eyes were on me from the darkness.
Dude, I totally relate to that. Back in my house in Puerto Rico, I was in a pretty urban area, but behind my house there was a hill, like a super green, flush, like jungly ass hill, because it's Puerto Rico, so nothing's fucking tiny. And behind that hill was a graveyard, and sometimes it would be midnight. I would be like in the back of my house. We had an extension where like I would play games and shit, and we would hang out there, and I would be playing Halo or something. And if we had metal blinds back then, if one of the windows were like open, even just a crack, I could not stay in that room for more than like 10 minutes before I felt like something was coming for me. I would be so scared that I would like shut the windows, and I would like Metal Gear crawl to the other window and like close it from the ground.
Close it so you don't see you.
Yeah, so
You're like fucking rolling. You're like
terrifying.
I know it's not Go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. But then I found out. Sorry, Tay. Then I found out that there was a fucking thief that would jump from backyard to backyard and look through people's windows. Like 2 years later. And I was like, fuck that.
Oh, you gotta tell the story about the dude that was in your backyard when you came here. I just remember that story. You have to tell that story. Hang on. I can take a piss, but go ahead, just start it.
I forgot about this. When I was going to school, I was really, really fucking late one day to class because it was like 4 a.m. and it was like 5 a.m. and my mom's like making breakfast or something downstairs, and I heard her like, I'm knocked the fuck out, completely asleep, and I hear her scream really loudly, and I go running down the stairs as quickly as I can, and my mom tells me that there was a big, like, sort of like Terry Crews looking black dude just jerking off, like cock out, hand on dick, just jerking off in the backyard of my house. Full on. And my mom saw him, and she saw him through like the crack in the blinds. So he had those vertical blinds, and she made eye contact with him, and then she screamed. And he started running, and I imagine with his dick out, started running through the backyards of the house because we were like right next to a road. Yeah. And so I got up, I walk outside, I see nothing like in the backyard. There's like nothing there. And I call the cops and whatnot, and the cop comes into the house, and I go like, hey man, yeah, there was a dude jerking off in the backs, in our backyard, like literally in our window. My mom saw him through the blinds. And the cops just wrote it down. It was all they could do and whatever. So, and I went to school. I showed up to class like 3 hours late, and my teacher was just like, hey, why are you late? Don't come to the classroom. And I was just like, man, I'm sorry.
I know exactly who this is.
Yeah. And I was like, man, some dude was like jerking off in my backyard. I'm fucking sorry. I'm going to sit down now. And he was just like, sure, fine. But then that was the first time it happened. But then the guy started terrorizing the other houses in the neighborhood.
No, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. He became a serial wanker. You know, like he was looking through people's, like, most of our kitchens had a little window above the sink, and he would look through the sink window and the back doors, and he would just pull his cock out and start wanking it in the middle
so he know these women then from like spying on them, following where their houses are.
Yeah, he would just sorry, go ahead. I
want to say, like, did your mom know him from anywhere, like work or something?
No, I know that he worked. He lived in the neighborhood that we lived in. We narrowed it down to it was a whole fucking thing, man. Like for like 5 weeks, my life was dominated by this dude because now I had to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning every time to make sure that he wasn't monkeying it in our backyard. So
what a fucking power move!
No,
Did he have like cameras around him by any chance? Like
no, like nobody could get it. This is like just before like the ring cams were like really mainstream, and like it had always been a safe neighborhood. So all of our neighbors were like, I don't know what's going on.
I mean himself. Like was it this like kink thing? Put it on the website or whatever.
He was just voyeurism. Like he just liked to walk around and monk it. And
people are weirdos, dude.
They are. They fucking are. And I was so mad at this guy for so long because I legitimately had to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day to make sure that he wasn't in our backyard. And the fucked up thing is, I'm like 19.
Why at 5 a.m. though? Like, why not like just... was he finishing up at 5 a.m.? Like he's like, all right, clocking in at 11.
He's been there all night.
He's on the night shift.
He was actually like looking at people waking up early in the morning and like going through their daily routine. He had hit a neighbor around 6 a.m, and he does it in like close to winter, so it's like really dark at that time. And so he just liked to watch women fucking do their morning routine and then jerk off.
Brian should have like went outside for like 4 o'clock in the morning, have a shotgun sitting in a recliner, waiting for him to pop up.
You gotta go jerk it in his yard now. Yeah. It's gotta be a reverse power move.
Just look at him straight eye contact.
That's weird. Why would you do that? People are weirdos, dude.
Yeah, it was
angry straight because it's so stupid. Like, what's wrong with you,
dude? Yeah. It was such a fucking. It was like
that's a true horror movie right there. Like you were getting terrorized by a dude jerking off early in the morning.
It was
like-
genuinely scary. It was genuinely fucking scary. Because of course, and we know that he lived in the neighborhood because we did a little like amateur sleuthing, as they call it, and we know that people saw him go to a street, and he would always return to that street, but they never saw which house it came from. And I was just like, and I was just waiting. I just wanted to fucking throw hands, punch him right in the dick. But never found him. Never found him. That's the story of he was a serial wanker. We dealt with him for like 6 months.
6 months?
6 months.
That's long.
Yeah,
God damn.
and the police couldn't
That's
do
very
anything
long.
about it because they never had enough information. Because the descriptions started being contradictory because eyewitness is extremely unreliable. Some people would say he was a tall black man. Some people would say he was a tall Hispanic dude. Some people would say he wasn't even that fucking tall. So it's like, well, never found him. He got away scot
Probably
fucking
multiple
free.
people.
Well, I mean,
the
the police also don't do their jobs anyways.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing I know
They're,
about
they're,
him,
they're supposed to investigate. They're supposed to try and find information. They're not
Yeah.
just supposed
Say,
to
we got a
fucking
cum sample over here.
sit there and wait to get information.
Could you imagine like a detective coming in and he's got a big magnifying glass and he's just following a little trail of like pre-cum
Yeah.
like down the road. It's like,
the only thing I do know about him is that he apparently had a giant cock. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah,
He
huge
was-
cock.
Yeah, he was packing.
That's
yeah,
why he wanted to show it off.
I remember my teacher.
yeah, what's the point of having a big dick if you can't show it off?
Colin.
I mean, it's like sitting let a sports car just sitting in the garage, I guess.
It's like
Colin got any scary experiences or stories or anything?
Do I?
Yeah, Colin. What's up?
I mean, I used to live at I live down here in Florida.
It was
Oh, you got a fucking ghost
Florida
alligators.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida man.
So if I used to live in like a farmhouse that was probably not very far from like any sort of city or anything, but it was kind of, it was down a dirt road. But we'd always have like weird instances of like the TV turning itself on. The chair, we had a recliner, the chair would rock itself.
The fuck?
Doors would open. It was an old house. I mean, the floors, like everything creaked. It was old. But I felt like shit would creak for no reason. I came to the conclusion that it was a little kid. After like further analysis, I was just trying a bunch of different things to see like if something would get like attention from it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting its attention somehow with a ball, and I assumed that it was a kid from that point. After what?
Any of you guys believe in ghosts?
What'd you say?
What's that?
Do any of you believe in ghosts?
Yeah,
I've had a bunch of experiences with ghosts.
I am in that weird camp where it's just like, yeah, fucking maybe, but also like I've never experienced a ghost thingy of any
Me
kind. I've just always like, yeah, there's probably something out there that I don't understand, but I'm not afraid of ghosts because I haven't seen one yet. I'm sure the moment I see one, I'll shit myself and I go like, the fuck that.
I don't get the concept of a spirit so angry, so it just terrorizes people. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, considering how shitty people are, that does make perfect sense to me.
because I think it's based off of energy personally. So if you die with like basically hateful energy, you're just gonna like imprint that on the universe, and that's just there now.
I remember seeing a YouTube video where this woman, she has a child ghost in her house, and she just let it happen. It's a friendly ghost, but she is aware.
I mean, that's essentially what was my situation. It was like, yeah, okay, like the TV would turn on, and I would walk up, turn it off, and basically like as if I'm talking to nobody, just be like, hey, can you stop, please? Like, stop fucking turning on the TV.
It's like, can you stop playing Barney for 5 fucking minutes? I just want to watch Yu-Gi-Oh, okay?
Yeah, she was like a little girl, the woman said, and she just did her thing where the ghost exists, and the ghost didn't do nothing to her for years, just there.
Yeah, I mean,
like a neighbor.
you know,
That
sounds
side
like-
by side, it was whatever.
That sounds like a sitcom.
Yeah.
I have
Sally
two
and a
ghost
ghost.
stories.
3 men and a ghost.
3-minute ghost and a baby. I have 2 ghost stories. I'll start with the one that was I got least affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my ex-girlfriend stayed in a haunted hotel. It's called it's one of the most haunted hotels in America. It's the Martha Hotel.
Where is that?
Martha. I think it's Martha. Martha's.
Why did you say that name?
Martha's.
What?
Oh yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
Fuck. I think or the Washington Hotel is something like that. It's in Tennessee, I think.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember where the fuck it's at. Well, it has like numerous ghost stories, and it's been haunted for like generations and generations. It's really famous for there's a blood stain on the stairs, and no matter how hard they try to clean it, it just never comes up. The stain just stays there.
Does the stain stay?
I think what did you say?
Does the stain stay, or does it go away and then come back?
It stays.
Okay.
It is. They can't remove it.
I mean, blood
And it
stains
apparently-
wood, bro.
Yeah, apparently someone died on the stairs.
Life.
But apparently, like, the place is really cool. I mean, it's a really neat place. It's really old, but it has like it's really fancy and stuff. And I only stayed there for one night, but my mom hooked us up and got us this hotel, like a hotel room, and she got us the honeymoon suite, and it was like cool. I didn't get like it was kind of like eerie. I didn't really see like too much of anything, but when I tell you, when I went to sleep that night, I could not fucking go to sleep. I stayed awake the entire night.
Wait, hang on. To cut you off. Did you know about this stuff prior about the hotel, or?
I think I did. I think my mom told me right before I went or something. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's super haunted." I'm like, "What?" And so, like the honey moon suite was really fancy. I mean, like this is the most fanciest fucking shit I ever stayed in my life, because it's all like old Victorian age type stuff. And when I went to sleep that night, I swear to God, I could feel it. I could feel someone standing in the corner of the room watching me.
Ugh.
It was the most uncomfortable feeling I've ever had, because it was like if you would have told me someone was standing there, like if someone had just walked in and started standing there, I would have completely believed you. That feeling when someone's staring right at you, right?
Yeah.
Or
It's
like
an
you sit
uneasy
down in a
feeling.
room, someone walks in, stands in a corner, looks at you. You
Yeah.
can feel that on you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was indistinguishable to what I was feeling when I was trying to sleep.
God damn.
And I just kept it was pitch black. There was not a single fucking light in the room. And I was just staring through the darkness, and I could feel it just like standing. It was either standing or sitting, but I could feel it just watching me sleep. Not a wink, not a
I know
fucking wink.
that-
That
I know that feeling, though.
You should have asked like in the lobby
Did
in
you-
the morning if they had one. Like
I would
ask
say
people.
there's that cheesy thing that I've read online that it was like, like humans naturally can like tell, like it's a sixth sense. They can tell that they're being looked at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they have that sixth sense even while they sleep. So they say like if you wake up at like 3:00 in the morning for no reason, that means somebody's watching you.
That's
Yeah.
me for the past 2 weeks. Not even joking. I wake up around that time. Around
yeah.
3 to 4 o'clock. So
I always wake up, but it's just because I sweat my sleep. I'm fucking drenched.
Yeah, same.
But I would say that was a indirect experience I had with a ghost. The next story I'm about to tell is a direct confrontation I had with a ghost, or not. It was not.
a
I wouldn't
direct
say like confrontation, but it directly affected me. It was the most craziest fucking experience I've ever had.
I'd say
Is this
got
when you
one
was a
after
kid
I got
at
one
the
experience
house?
like that.
That we gonna one up each other. I see.
Yeah, I got
this
that.
when you was a kid.
So I live. What part of Virginia I'm from is like where a lot of Civil War battles happen. So there's a ton of battlefields. In my grandfather's house, we have a house in a family, and it's called the Big House. And it was a slave plantation-owned house or whatever. And so unbelievable amounts of people had died in it. And then during the Civil War, they would bring Union and Confederate soldiers there to treat their wounds and stuff. So add all the people that's already died before, add all those people that's died in the Civil War, and we're actually right next to the house. There was a Civil War battle. Like just there's a big flat open field, and there was a battle fought there. And then like maybe like 3-4 miles down the road, that's where there's like this huge battle happened. I forget the name of the battle. But like, and then actually my mom lives maybe like a a half mile away from the house. It's literally just like a walk away. And there's I think a Confederate graveyard next to our house. So the entire area is just littered with bodies. It's super fucking like haunted. Mm-hmm. So what happened is me and my friends were in high school. So me and two other friends, I was like, do you guys want to see this house? It's like apparently haunted. And I had been in it before, and it's like creepy. It really was. It was like super fucking creepy. It's a house from the 1800s. It's falling apart. It's like cold. It's like really fucking spooky. So they're like, yeah, of course. And so we go in. We're just walking around. We go up the stairs, and in the house there's this weird thing like where there's a balcony, and there's like you open a door to go out onto the balcony. It's a huge balcony, right? And then within that balcony there is a door on the balcony, and it's like, I guess it's like a spare room or whatever. So we open that spare room, and it just has a bunch of junk in it. So the house, for everyone in my family, they just kept their junk shit in there. But there was a lot of old stuff in the house, and we started. I found this like book, and it was all these old like letters and like photographs, and there was some creepy ass photographs of like. No one posed with a fucking smile back then. They all looked fucking insane.
They did.
Because I guess the fucking pictures took like 35 minutes to take.
Yeah.
But I remember finding all these old photographs, and I'm like, whoa, these are fucking creepy. And me and my friends were like, okay, this is all right, whatever. We're gonna dip so we put everything back, and my two friends exit. I'm the last one to leave the room, and I shut the door. So my two friends are in front of me. I'm behind them. I'm in the very back of them. They're walking. They almost get right to the door, the balcony door, to go. And then once you go from the balcony door, there's either you can go into like the rest of the upstairs, or you can just go directly downstairs. Like the stairs start right there. Mm-hmm. While we're walking, we get like right at the door. And then I feel something stand right behind me. I could feel it. Just like on my shoulder. And I could feel someone's head lean into my ear. And I will never get this out of my fucking head. And I don't know why they said it. But they said, what I think they said is, they said, hey, yeah. I don't know why but it was like a whisper.
Was it Andre 3000?
You fucking guessed this
yeah.
out.
It's like really muffled.
Colin, you beat me to the fucking joke.
But like, it was like a whisper.
So like,
and when I heard the whisper, I was like, wait, I'm in the back. There's no one fucking behind me.
Was there no one behind you? Was it not like someone was being weird?
No, there was no one behind me. I was the one in the back. And my body just got like a cold sweat over it because
you suddenly. Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, it dawned on me that like, what was that? And I got this shiver, and I remember just taking my hands and pushing my friend, I'm like I had to put my hand on their back, and I'm like, go faster, and apparently, actually I'll say that at the end. So they freak out. They heard it too at the exact same time. Apparently, they all heard it.
No. Okay, so it wasn't like someone was.
So it was, but the way it sounded was that it whispered into my ear. Huh. But apparently, both of them heard it. So we all freak out and we start running forward. And this is the part that's like, I don't believe it in my head. I feel like I just imagine this part. Because it's son. I've never seen a ghost. I've just had interactions like this. But this is so fucking terrifying. I think my brain tries to suppress it. So while we're running down the stairs, you just hear it scream.
Oh my God.
Really?
You hear it scream. The whole house was screaming. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Because my brain because something like that happens, like you don't comprehend it, and to this day I still don't comprehend it, and I still don't believe it's true in my head.
Is it like?
But it was like let's see, it was like just, but it's the entire house. It's a 2-story huge house screaming. It's just like, and it was like getting louder and louder as we got further down. And dude, we are all three of us sprinting to leave the fucking house.
You're like crying, snot in your nose.
Dude, it was I was in pure fear. I was in pure shock of what was happening to me.
Yeah.
God damn.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
Can you beat that, Colin?
I mean, mine was more one-on-one. I was by myself.
Yeah.
that's probably worse. Is that
Sorry,
What?
if I had ran into what you like ran into, Crockett, like the moment the house started screaming, that is it. Like that's it for me. Like the house can
Brian just collapses to the floor, fetal position.
and
seizure.
Yeah, the house can eat
I
you.
never turned around.
I don't blame you.
I swear to God, I think if I would have turned around, I would have died.
God damn.
Because like as soon as it whispered in my ear and we started bolting, I couldn't imagine if it was just standing there. I've never seen a ghost, but I couldn't imagine just if I turned around and saw someone standing there, I think my body would have just left. I think my soul would have ascended.
Your body
I know
would.
this is random. Can you guys sense auras by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think all people
think
can.
so, yeah.
Can you see what?
Because you can get like a bad vibe from someone.
Did you say
Yeah.
Like you can feel the negative aura.
auras?
Yeah, I felt that. Just like walking up next to someone and you could just feel like how they're feeling, essentially.
On some Hisoka shit.
Yeah.
What was your story, Colin? Well, I had to say that out.
So this was a couple years ago. It was like I just got done with high school. It was like that couple months, like year that I just took off, didn't do shit. I was sitting in my house. I couldn't tell you how late it was at this time. I was like a night owl. I was staying up till like 5, 6, 7 in the morning. And it was probably about like 4 or 5, and sleep was starting to come on me. And I was trying to just flick through like Netflix, put something on to just kind of numb my brain, fall asleep to. And I had the PlayStation controller like over next to me on the bed, and I kind of like not looked but also looked to go and grab the controller, and then within almost an instant I see a black hand reach out to almost grab mine as I'm grabbing the controller, and simultaneously like a huge like breath in my ear, like a and then
Get the fuck out.
if I told you like you can't comprehend how fast I leapt up off the bed. I did like a barrel roll. I was spinning like towards the wall. I was like, and then I got to like the corner of my room where my bedroom door was, and I like flicked on the light, and I'm standing here like this, like in the corner of my room. Like,
yeah, you're in total
terrified
shock.
that something, I didn't feel it grab me, but I saw the hand, like it was super fast, like jumped out and like grabbed my hand, and then just breathed and like in my ear, and it was just like a deep like and I would just like ran to the door, like like
It's like home improvement.
it was fucking fast. Like I was like Nightcrawler teleported to the fucking wall, flicked on the light, and then I stood there. I stood there for like maybe like a whole like minute, 2 minutes, I don't know.
Catch your breath and stuff.
Yeah, once I caught my breath, I did one of those like walked up there like a cat, like super curious, super like cute, like quiet, and I like just grabbed the controller, like sat back down where I was, and I like kept like looking over my shoulder, and I was like, just put something on TV, just get some noise. It was completely silent in my room, and the only light that I had was the TV until I like jumped up and flicked on the light. It's probably like the scariest like moment I had, and it all happened in like 30 seconds. It was so fast.
It wasn't like a mouse or rat or anything, was it?
No, bro, it was like a shadow or something, dude. It was like it was enough to like like blacken. Like I saw the shadow like encompass my hand and my arm.
Okay.
Like something like hovered over me like
I
immediately.
fucking hate that for you.
Mm.
I have never.
That was probably
That was
my,
like- that was a
probably my
fucking
most
demon,
intense experience. Yeah.
See, I've never had anything that was like quite as strong. Like I wish I did because there's such interesting stories to tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not yet. Yeah, wait,
Like,
just wait
the-
around.
The closest thing I've had is just like feeling like someone's watching me through windows. But then I also just feel like that's just me being fucking like you just
Paranoid.
Yeah, I think that's a
Anxiety,
normal
man.
fear too, though.
it's,
It's a common fear, probably.
it's like my fucking I don't know, my brain just doesn't like the idea of people watching me through fucking windows.
Like
Yeah.
throughout the day, sometimes it'd be random days. I just like I could have sworn I saw something near me. You guys had those freaking moments. I hate that
Yeah.
so much. Like you see something in the corner of your eye. But
Oh, you talking
like,
about shadow
could've
people?
sworn- It's like someone's like near you. I do that all the time here, and in my old house. Like
Sh-
I was gonna say, I was like, you
Someone's
talking
near
about
me.
shadow
Yeah.
people? Like that's what you
Like sleep paralysis too.
the people that hang out in
Uh,
your peripherals.
I experienced that. It's scary.
Hey, why?
Once you understand
Hey, why
it.
did it just get darker in your room?
That is funny.
say shadow people suddenly get dark.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like
It's
Tay's like, yeah, I always like see some shit, and then there's some like I can see a face
some
behind his
flickering.
bed and shit.
You get dark. Why did you do that? That's weird.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit, Tay.
Ghost. Darkness falls.
Stinky.
It's the tooth fairy.
The tooth fairy. I used to be
Oh, darkness
I used to be
falls.
fucking scared of the tooth fairy, dude. Tooth fairy used to scare
We
the
thought she
shit
was
out
gonna
of
like
me.
rip your teeth out.
Yeah, it was like not a good time at all.
You have such a
This-
pretty smile. And she,
The
like,
movie that scarred me as a kid, like truly scarred me, was Exorcism in the Rose. It destroyed me for a few
I don't think I've
months.
seen that yet.
Exorcist never
'cause-
really fucked me up.
Yeah, there was like because demons and stuff.
Yeah.
Before I still have like religion in me or whatever, because the movie tropes tell you based on a true story. And this movie did, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, is
Yeah,
this
no,
real?
you-
No, yeah, like it did terrify me. I couldn't sleep sometimes, but I got over it like a few months later. But it was like really bad for me.
The
Do you guys remember the
seen it.
first movie to give you nightmares?
That was that movie. Yeah,
Was that one movie?
yeah, it scarred me. For,
The
like,
first movie that gave me nightmares was Nightmare on Elm Street, and I saw it when I was like
The
worst
worst,
movie to
worst
give you
movie
nightmares, yeah.
nightmare.
when I saw it when I was like 4 years old, and it terrified me.
the movie didn't
as a
scare
kid.
me as a kid though. I guess because it's old, maybe.
Like
Well,
the whole
it depends
concept
on
that
which
he
one
can
you
go in your
watched.
dreams
The
and
original.
shit, bro. I could not sleep.
That's a powerful ability to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told
OP
this
as
story
fuck.
on the podcast, but did I ever tell you guys the first scary movie I ever
no,
watched?
I don't think so.
I think it was like
loudest movie.
I think I was like 6 years old. My parents, this is
This
like the
Jeepers
first movie I
Creepers.
ever watched. My parents took me to see Jeepers Creepers.
Oh my god, really?
You tell me this story.
Yeah. Well, that movie came out in what 2003.
Like 2003, yeah.
I was
That
8.
movie was proper scary.
So that was the
No, it's the way he says it because he told me this story before.
yeah. I was like 8 years old, and I didn't know it was a scary movie. My parents just took me. They were just, I guess, having a date night or something, and they just took me to the theater. And when I started seeing the bodies, when they do the
You're like, something
they
ain't
show
right
the first
here.
scene where it's all the bodies are like sewn together and stuff.
Yeah.
I started fucking crying my ass off. I was screaming. I was like sitting in there like, ah! Ah! And like I remember like getting out of my seat, turning around, getting in the fetal position, and I was like crying. I was like soaking.
Oh man, it was funny.
Dude, I was literally getting scarred to death from watching this fucking movie.
Did your parents?
It is like it's a stupid movie if you go back and watch it, but like to an 8-year-old that had never seen a scary movie before, it was the most terrifying shit I've ever seen. And I remember my parents having to take me home, and they dropped me off at my grandparents, and I think they went back to the theater.
It was a little scary to me as a kid, but not that scary. Yeah.
That is
Like around like 8ish when I saw it. Maybe. What's up?
no, that's fucking hilarious. Did your parents? Did they ever take you to another scary movie?
No, they didn't.
They probably had no one to tell you to watch you or something. So like, just bring them just in case.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. I don't know why they thought to bring an 8-year-old to a rated R horror movie. They were like, yeah, he'll be all right. I know my dad. Dad was like, yeah, he'll be okay.
He'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
He'll be all right. She's like, sure. But yeah. You watched it, scarred him for life.
What's the last movie that ever scared you?
The first movie.
That actually scared you?
Conjuring one.
Which one?
Go ahead, Brian.
The first Conjuring was fucking good. Oh.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a proper scare. The last movie that scared the shit out of me was Hereditary.
Yeah, I knew he was about to say Hereditary. That was the last movie that ever scared me too.
So I watched clips of this on YouTube. Am I
never
destroying
seen
the
it.
Hereditary? You guys haven't seen it?
Yeah, I don't look at it like I don't get
it.
this fear of it. Is it like more psychological?
Watch it. It's a fucking brilliant horror movie directed by quite possibly the best director working right now, Ari Aster. He is exceptional at scaring the shit out of you. And not jump scaring you, just making you feel so fucking uncomfortable. There's like one shot where like the mom is crawling on the upside down on the ceiling. I think about that once a week. It's fucking awful.
No, you know what scene that like threw me through a fucking loop, and immediately as soon as I saw that scene, I'm like, holy shit, this is the greatest this is gonna be a fucking terrifying movie.
The school scene.
It's the scene where the mom turns out the light and sees her mom standing there in the doorway.
Yeah.
No, it's not in the doorway. She's standing in the corner of the room and she turns the light back on and she's gone. That and that's right at the beginning of the movie. As soon as that happened,
yeah.
When I was watching this, because I didn't know anything really about the movie. All I knew was like people said it was good, and I'm like, okay, I like scary movies. It's probably gonna be cheesy. When that happened, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be fucking good. Because that was true. That was true fucking horror right there.
I don't watch horror movies. It's just something I'm not into. Not that I'm scared of them. I just don't watch them. Same with games.
I just think horror movies have like, come shit nowadays.
It peaked in the 80s. I give it that. It's just something I don't do.
The movie does a great job of doing dread.
The uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, horror movies now are just a metaphor for grief.
Not necessarily.
With demons, especially with Conjuring. What was that one? The one that was set in the 50s. Is it the Annabelle one? The first Annabelle
Annabelle
movie?
Creation?
With the couple?
Or the nun?
No, with the couple, and they were like living in that apartment. I think that's the first Annabelle. Yeah, that one.
I like that one a lot. I thought that one wasn't actually that bad, even though it was like a spin-off movie.
It's a whole universe. It's a
there's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah. The Nun was terrible.
Yeah, I just watched the first Conjuring. And
that was that easy cash grab.
Yeah.
That's the new monster of this generation, I guess. Or whatever.
Yeah, just like demons, paranormal stuff.
That's what I'm sick of, though. Like, it used to be. It went from like slashers to paranormal.
Yes, slashers were like big in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I think religion is kind of a tired concept with
like early 2000s, like late 90s, like zombies.
Religion,
or like those like teenage slasher movies.
Yeah. Horror hasn't declined. It's just the commercial value of horror has changed.
They're popcorn movies.
Yeah, people like the ability to jump into a movie and know exactly how they're going to be scared. It makes money, and that's why they keep happening. But when you find a good horror movie like Hereditary or Midsommar, or like a good parody horror,
did you think Midsommar was like well crafted?
Midsommar was an incredibly well composed movie. It was incredible.
I don't think it was like it wasn't so scary in a sense.
I also think it wasn't trying to be.
You can tell that it's like a decent
I also
movie.
think that it wasn't trying to be as scary as Hereditary. The horror came from somewhere different.
Well,
you know what the scariest part?
Right?
The scariest part of that movie is of Midsommar is when they're all drinking lemonade and the guy's lemonade is fucking a little slightly tint redder than everyone else's.
I guess they had all the period blood in there.
Oh fuck! I was like, that doesn't look obvious.
What he did? There's blood in it.
You drink period.
They put a
blood.
spell on him and they put period blood in the lemonade. It's a great movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
The movie makes you. It's not scary, but it makes you uncomfortable as fuck.
It's like there are two tiers of horror, which is the horror of like jump scare and like the reactionary horror, and then there's like the existential dread horror. And I think
I never watched the dread horror before.
Actually, you can really feel Midsummer really well if you've ever had a relationship fall apart. It's really, he actually captured, because I mean that's how he based the movie on, was his relationship was falling apart, and so he like somehow captured that in a fucking bottle and made the fucking movie.
You know that Midsummer is a pretty awesome metaphor for fascism. Just so you,
oh my
just
god!
so you
Here we
know.
go.
No. I'm that serious. Like the way that they brainwash you is captured really, really well through Midsummer, and that's how fascism kind of works. That's one of the reads. It's about grief. It's a movie about just finding a chosen family and like learning how to be comfortable in that. It's a great film, and everybody should watch it at least once.
You know, the concept of zombies is terrifying. I always thought about that. It'd be uncontrollable.
Running zombies, yeah. Slow
more
zombies.
Since I think Arnold Schwarzenegger made a movie. I never watched it though, but I think it plays a good. From what I've seen, it seems like it plays a good point on how, what if your mom or sister or brother turn to a zombie? What do you do?
Oh yeah.
Shoot them.
Yeah, that's the fear of zombies come from me. Like, what do you do?
It's not as easy as people think to like.
Yeah.
No.
You know, people are always just like, yeah, just pop him, and I'm just like, you're not going to.
So I think that movie, he like his daughter.
And probably once you do kill them, you have like a mental breakdown. You're like, Jesus Christ.
I actually had a short story about that concept.
Nice.
Zombie concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in the links.
The idea
that's
of like a loved one turning into one, and you having to deal with it.
Yeah, that was
what is that movie Warm Bodies, where the fucking girl falls in love with a zombie?
And the zombie starts getting its humanity.
That was like the peaking of the fucking zombie craze.
She's like, they're trying to normalize necrophilia.
Wasn't that the Harry Potter guy as him? Wasn't he the dead body?
Who was?
The guy that plays Harry Potter.
No. That's Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man.
Which is a brilliant film.
Peak cinema.
It's an amazing film. And they're so Edgar Wright, just celebrating horror in a second. Edgar Wright is coming out with a proper horror film, which is incredible. I'm so excited for that. I have no idea what it's about. I just know that Edgar Wright directing a horror movie, delicious.
Did he make a Baby Driver? Oh,
and Scott Pilgrim. Do you don't like Baby Driver?
I will die on this hill. Baby Driver sucks.
You are an idiot.
And everyone can eat my ass. I don't like that. Well, I don't like John Hamm.
Okay, listen, I get it. All right, John Hamm's got that face.
Really? You don't like that guy?
He's kind of a cocksucker. Yeah, he's kind of like a. Well, he's probably not a cocksucker, but he plays a dick so well that it makes me not like him. What'd you say?
Come at me, John Hamm.
They do like 16.
Watching the show, you little bitch.
These are
John Hamm actually was watching this thing. I just got a letter in the mail. He's like, I want to beat the fuck out of you. It's like, who is this from?
Get some wounds over my hammy right now.
People want him to play as the 1930s Superman, which I'm down for. Take place in like the 30s. He just before he play as Superman because he has that build.
He does have that build.
And the looks or whatever. Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen Dead Silence?
Is that the puppet?
Oh yeah, I love Dead Silence.
That was the first movie that made me unable to sleep. It was Dead Silence, because I had a bunch of.
And then the ending, the twist ending, where it's like the dude's been a puppet.
Yeah,
the whole
I was
time.
like, what the fuck? When they flip that chair around,
and she's using his spinal cord to like do that.
Oh my god!
I was like, that takes so much engineering.
Was it an old man he was controlling?
What'd you say?
Yeah, the old man.
It was in a wheelchair or something.
He was.
Yeah.
I sang this before. Oh my god, that's just like faint memory. I remember this.
That movie scared the fucking bollocks off me I watched it when I was like 10.
Because it was dolls or something.
Oh yeah, I remember this movie. This is like because she went into that doll room, right? They're all in.
Yeah,
I have faint memory.
It was it was like a stage room.
Yeah, I remember this.
And,
I remember that scene actually.
And I remember like watching that movie and then being completely terrified of my plush toys for like 2 months. It's just like could not look Pikachu in the eye. It's like
I couldn't take doll movies seriously. That's why I don't take Annabelle seriously. Even though it's not really the same, but let's kick it. What are you gonna do? Chucky's like 3 feet tall. But I guess he retains his strength, right? Isn't the case?
Tay over here just fucking
he keeps his human strength.
Punting dolls.
Have you guys ever seen the Twilight Zone episode where it's the puppet? It's like It's like the episode that probably inspired like a lot.
I
of the
haven't
shit.
actually.
Is he the mascot of the series?
It's a stand-up ventriloquist. He has a puppet that's really good. It's not the Goosebump version is called Slappy, but I can't remember the actual episode.
I'm thinking
name.
about Goosebumps. Never mind. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
What?
I'm thinking of Goosebumps. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, that's
yeah.
what Goosebumps is based on that Twilight
Dude, the
episode.
Twilight Zone had a lot of really good horror.
Dude, the Twilight Zone's really fucking good. I've been going back and rewatching a lot of that shit, and it's like extremely well made.
The new ones?
No, the old ones, like the fucking 30s.
Yeah, but I know the new ones with Jordan Peele or that Jordan Peele's producing are actually really.
Yeah,
good
I only
too.
saw one because they were
No
on
one
like
talks
limited
about that
release
series,
with like
though.
YouTube.
Yeah, you can only see it on like what?
Yeah, it's on
Peacock
like
or
CBS
or whatever.
Access or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I
I just
never
So
seen no one
fucking
mention.
stupid. No one got that.
We'll do
No
a.
one's
That's
paying
off
for
a-
this shit.
I just download
No
them.
one's paying for this shit. Yeah,
We'll have a
That's probably why I never hear no one
Twilight
talk
Zone.
about
the Twilight Zone episode that got me the most is the guy that somehow ended up in the like being the last man alive or something like that. Like that's what he wanted.
I think it's the first episode. Yeah,
He
and
breaks his glasses. For some reason, the horror of that, it's like such a dumb horror, but it stuck with me as a kid. I was like, can't do that.
It's like the
There
most
was
famous one.
we read in middle school. It's faint. Do they all take place in the 60s? The premise of the entire show.
Yeah,
Most of them. Some of them are futuristic.
Well, I from what the story is told, it was set in the 60s, and I think people disappeared. It's faint, but we read the story in middle school, and it was really decent from if I can remember, or at the time I remember. That's like my really. I didn't really watch Twilight Zone. I used to come on every once in a while as a kid. Like that was the theme song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the old channel. But I didn't really have much experience with Twilight Zone.
I missed like Creature of the Week horror shows, like Creature of the Week, like Supernatural, where like they handled a specific
Tales from the
yeah,
Crypt.
just like they handled a specific monster every week, and like
The Monkey's
it was
Paw.
just cool. Monkey's Paw.
I remember watching Tales from the Crypt like every fucking week with my parents. We'd watch that. It was like that.
I know exactly what you about to say.
Ripley's Believe It or Not, Fear Factor. It was all this big fucking lineup. American Idol.
Remember Scare Tactics?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, the Scare Tactic was actually pretty good.
Where you just scare the shit out of your friends?
Then they kept rebooting it.
Yeah.
There's actually a series now that it's just a reboot of Scare Tactics, but it's got the kid from Stranger Things hosting it.
I was gonna say, I was like, what? I remember it was like Tracy
Finn
Morgan
Wolfhard.
for a
It's
while.
got Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah, that's the one I remember calling with Tracy
No, it's the
Morgan.
kid- the
Okay,
kid
I
with
remember.
Oh
teeth.
yeah. Dustin and some.
Oh,
what's his
really?
name?
Yeah.
What the
He's
fuck?
cool.
The,
But that is the second time it's been rebooted.
Kid
So
with
this
no
this,
teeth.
this kid is hosting the third reboot. Well, it's not a reboot, but it's like a reimagining of it or something. It's
Like
the same
just a
concept. Just
spiritual
scaring
successor.
your pranking your people. Oh, I
The
think it's called Prank Tactics. I think that might be the
missed
name of
Punked.
it.
Because warnings now, because people can't take it. I guess that's also like, is Fear Factor even the same anymore? I think they do like more stunts than gross things now, right? Or Fear
Dude,
Factor.
I remember
Yeah.
watching Fear Factor.
Everything's a
Distance
liability
yeah,
now.
stock.
Fear Factor's not the same.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan hosted
Like
that
people
shit.
used to
God,
vomit.
Joe Rogan's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, funny story with that. That blew my mind because I started listening to heavy last year. I'm like, this is Joe Rogan from the past. He looks completely different.
Yeah, when you were like showing me the podcast and stuff, and then you were like, I'm like, is this the same guy from Fear Factor? And I'm like, there's no fucking way. Those are two different guys.
Yeah.
Even like in my mind, like the head shape was different, and I'm like, holy shit, that is him. That he just has like he looks
His
completely
head got
different though.
lumpier.
Yeah.
Because he like lost all his hair, he got really jacked, and he got a bunch of tattoos.
Yeah. Apparently he hated it or something. It was
No, he talks shit about it all the time.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
The time.
A job's a job, I guess.
Yeah. You know that that kid from Stranger Things, the main kid that
Finn
likes
Wolfhard.
11?
Yeah.
That's why he always did the horror stuff.
He
Why
he
is
did
in
it.
He's
He
in
did it.
Ghostbusters.
What else did he do?
He's in Ghostbusters too.
The
new one.
reboot.
Yeah. No, the reboot.
There's some
It's coming
God,
out. Well, it's supposed to come out this year, but it got delayed.
goddamn. All right.
Yeah. He's like the horror kid.
That's gonna be his shtick for a little while.
Yeah.
Right. Are we?
Well, do you guys want to wrap up the show?
You just
with,
read my fucking mind.
These fucking. You want to wrap up the show with these spooky tweets on why my apartment
Yeah, let's
is
do it.
haunted?
Read them out to us.
What's the last thing that happened?
Yeah, read them out.
All right, so give some context. I moved into my apartment complex 2 years ago. My apartment complex got built when I moved in, so I am the first person to live in this part of my complex. So there's no like bad juju in the walls yet from like past tenants or anything. So I don't know why these things fucking happen, and these things happen occasionally every couple months. They're never continuous, but they just happen every couple months. There's something weird will happen. And I have been, after a while, I started like just writing them down. I started making tweets out of them so I can make a big catalog of it, and then I can come back and read them. So this is my update. They may not all be in order. I'm going to try to make them all in order as much as I can possibly from what I can remember when it happened. This has been going on for 2 years, so let me see if I can find a tweet from 2000.
God damn, that's 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Top 5 videos, scary horror movies.
Okay, so Where
was he looking? I remember going to his house and what was it? I heard someone. I thought someone was in the bathroom.
You saw someone standing in my bathroom.
And we paused for like at least like a minute. We just got quiet.
Yeah, it really drained all the air out of the room.
Then Adrian was like, so he thought
we're dead quiet.
Yeah.
She like you can hear the door crackling and opening, and then Adrian walks in and like she just like looks at us, and we just look at her and we're like, she's like, what?
Yeah. But go ahead.
So okay, I think this is like the first thing that happened. So tweet 1 it was 5/10/19. My TV keeps turning on at 3:30 in the morning every night. There's no timer. And then I had a dream a ghost murdered me. I don't know which is haunted, the apartment or the TV.
I love that you dreamt that a ghost is murdering you, and you were just like, yeah, the TV's on it.
Let's see. Let's find another one from my teen. Weird things that happened in my apartment. Update. Last night around 1:30, me and my girlfriend heard a very loud scratching sound in our bedroom. But when we turned on the light, I couldn't find where the sound was coming from after the sound stopped. So I remember we woke up in the middle of the night, and there was this weird scratching sound coming from I guess the corner of my room around my closet area. The closet area is where the most shit happens for some fucking reason. Really? But it was this weird scratching sound.
One of the people that built that place killed somebody and buried them in the drywall.
Oh my god, maybe.
I always said that they probably built it over a graveyard. I always told them that. To destroy those graveyards or whatever.
Okay. Oh, here's one. 12/10/19. All right, my apartment is haunted. I think that's me just accepting after my fucking TV turning on. Okay. Oh, here's one. 12/15/19. Spooky apartment update. Last night the bathroom light turned on by itself.
Really though? Oh my god. Wait, did you see it or is someone forgot that off?
It just turned on.
God
damn. 10/8/19. I don't think my apartment is haunted. They just built it last year, but I did have my TV turn on at 3:30 a.m. on 2 different occasions.
The 2 different occasions really is what sells it.
Or you can use your camera and record activity in your house. You had a good camera.
But there's no timer because it would keep happening if there was a timer. But it only happened twice in not increment times. It was
also
just
timers
2
don't turn
random
on
different
your
times.
telly.
Oh, true.
Yeah, they turn them off.
Let's see. There's some 8, 4. Okay. Here's a tweet from 4/25/20. I woke up at 2 a.m. last night to the sound of a child screaming coming from my wall or floor. I was too sleepy to investigate.
That mean you were scared.
Absolutely hate that.
10-3-20. Maybe I'm haunted, not my apartment.
Demons, Joe. Demons.
Because I'm like, this is weird. That like, because I was trying to wrap my head around like, why is my apartment fucking doing all this shit when it's brand new? Let's see. There is a 5. Okay. Oh, these are back to back. So 5/19/20. I heard a scratchy voice coming from my kitchen/living room while I was in my bedroom. I think I was streaming, and then I took my headphones off and I heard like a scratchy voice coming. So my door was shut, but I could hear. But my kitchen is pitch black, and I heard like a scratchy voice coming from it.
Not a good time. Did you hear what the voice said?
The next day. No, it was just couldn't make out what the fuck it was saying. Last night I woke up at 3 a.m. and had sleep paralysis plus night terrors for the rest of the night. I remember waking up in a cold sweat and like, yeah, I was having I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember I was just being fucking terrified in my dreams. That was the day after I heard the scratchy voice coming from my kitchen.
Okay then. That's a bad time, Crockett.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a demon, dog.
8/26/20. I woke up at 6 a.m. to a weird sound coming from my kitchen/living room. If I had to guess what kind of sound it made like an animal, but not quite. I don't know if this is the same time, but there was a time like where I woke up really early. I think it may have been 6 a.m. or something, but I heard it sounded like someone. So my girlfriend has slippers, and it sounded like someone put on her slippers and
just
it was
walking around
against our floor, going outside of our door, like back and forth.
And she was with you in bed?
Yeah, she was asleep, and I woke up, and I'm like, what is that? And it was
Isn't there an instance where your door was open one day?
Oh, I guess I never made a tweet of that. I saw someone standing in my door in my closet once.
No, I mean, your front door was open, right? Didn't it happen to you?
My front door? My front door can't be open. It's weighted.
Who said their front door was open the entire time? Like overnight, it was open or unlocked, maybe.
Oh, probably, yeah. It was. I've had my door be unlocked all night before, and I locked it the night that I went to sleep. Before I went to bed, it was when I woke up in the morning. It was unlocked.
Maybe you got a squatter.
maybe it's a homeless person like sleeping on my walls.
Yeah.
That's actually scarier than a ghost. To be fair.
Yeah. That one video, of that guy.
Is it the term it's
like,
called, Colin? Squatter. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. That video, or the guy finds that girl has been like sleeping in his like vents
and goes to the kitchen.
Yeah, because he was like, why does my sink smell like piss, and like why does like my food keep going missing? Because he thought it was his girlfriend like eating his like food and stuff, and she just didn't want to admit to it. So he sets up a camera, and then he leaves for the day, and then he sees this fucking woman. He had like a weird ventilation system, and he sees this woman coming out of the vents.
Yeah.
And she like starts like eating his food, and then she pisses in the sink. And then like there's one instance where he's like sleeping, or he gets up in the middle of the night. She's sitting in the kitchen. She goes under his table, and he goes into the fridge, grabs something.
And he has like no idea she's there.
When I saw that video, that freaked me the fuck out. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
How would you react when you sat down on your computer watching this footage?
Would
you just freeze
like,
there?
Hey, no, but like,
are they watching me right now?
Yeah, you just look at your vent, and she's like sitting there like with her eyes peeking out. Oh my god, dude.
That's scary, right?
That's like that is another instance of when your body just leaves your fucking soul. Like you just die.
Footage, and you see her in the footage. Like, you pause. You just look around.
That's a fucking grudge shit right there.
Proper terrifying.
Why would you do that? Is it homelessness?
Probably they're just like they look for a way to survive, and that's sometimes the easiest way. It happens.
Like a rat.
It happens often enough that it's like a pervasive news report. Like it's happened like more than 10 times.
Yeah.
Was she?
You heard a
did she
story.
live there before and knew that she could get up there? Like, how does she know she could like stay in those vents?
It's like that story about to say like someone brought a house and there was an extra room they did not know. There was a guy in there sleeping.
Yeah.
Like it was an extra room in their house they didn't know, and it was like some like apartment or whatever,
Yeah,
and the
that's
guy was just
fucking
living
terrifying.
there. And it's like the same story as the
God.
guy you just showed us in. That's weird.
That shit's always creepy. So,
yeah, it is.
So yeah, one time I did see someone like standing. I had this weird feeling that someone was standing in the closet with the door open. One time I had my closet door open, and I turned out the light, and I went to the bathroom to grab something, and I came back, and the closet light was
I hate
on.
that.
So there's always weird shit going on in my closet, and my girlfriend will freak out. So I wake up, I leave, like I go to work at like 6 a.m. If I get up, go in the closet and grab like my clothes and stuff, and then I don't shut the closet door, she'll immediately wake up and tell me to shut the closet door. She would not let me leave without making me shut it.
Jordan,
she,
what's this
like-
like paranormal activity where the wife knew the entire time she had a ghost following her?
Oh
Some
my
mess.
god! Like the ghost is attached to Adriana.
She's the one who's cursed you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
It's
I have
funny.
one, the latest tweet. This is from 10/12/20, so this is like a couple weeks ago. It's a picture of a text message Adriana had sent me, and she said, "I was folding the laundry, and some weird noises started coming out of the closet
God.
area."
What's in the closet? You got anything?
Yeah, bro.
I
what's in
don't
the
know
closet,
why there's so much weird shit that happens from the closet.
Dude, someone got.
That's really.
I
That's,
feel like that's
Someone
a thing,
got-
though.
I'm waiting on like me to be like streaming, and then something weird standing like behind me on stream, and people are like, "What the fuck?" Have you guys ever seen those like
get
videos
the Xbox
though, where
Connect
like,
thing?
oh my god, yeah, that's
Yeah.
happened before, where the thing was connecting to the fucking ghost.
And you saw the dude saw the ghost behind him, like the shadow.
Shit
Yeah,
myself.
it's
Yeah.
fuck.
look at
Those
those
videos
top,
freak me out.
top 5 scary videos.
I'm literally
You
up-
see that stuff all the
I'm-
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name? Nuke TV, whatever.
Top 15.
Top 5.
Burger King foot lettuce. That fucking guy.
Yeah, that guy.
But,
Yeah.
Oh,
is it-
Mr. Chills. That's his name.
He was like,
yeah,
did you see it?
Chills.
And he got to pause it, and it's like this little tiny thing. How you will see that?
Burger King foot lettuce.
Any more weird shit, Crockett?
You know.
Oh,
Come back in a year, and I'm sure I'll have a fucking batch of new.
Perfect.
fucking
He dies
stories.
tonight. He like dies.
Yeah, I died tonight. It, like the ghost, he knows too much.
Mentally ill man dies on TV.
I mentally, it's like
Mentally deranged man.
it's fucking
dies.
John Hamm is like
one day
waiting in my
we're gonna,
closet to
Crockett's
kill
gonna
me.
be streaming like Alien
guy.
Isolation. His neck's just gonna snap the wrong way.
No man.
But I'm gonna
like-
keep going. Like it's
Dude,
gonna be
playing
it's
headless.
I'll never forget what Jordan told Mr. Strong's wife. Hey, what's that? Outside. And scared the mess out of her. That was so very funny.
you
She
wanna
what?
you wanna tell that story before we close out?
Yeah, like we were just. I mean, that was the story basically. Like he was at his house and he was
Well,
like,
like-
we just have a conversation.
So we're all at Strong's house. We're all hanging out. Me, Strong, his wife, Tay, and then some other students from school. And like they had this big glass screen door that like a sliding door that goes out into like their backyard. And it's like pitch black outside, and we're all like just like eating and just like, fucking around and stuff. And then we're like standing there, like I'm standing there talking to her, and she's standing, she has her
front of the
back
door.
against the
Yeah.
the glass door, and I'm like standing there talking to her, and I just do this. I go, "Do you see that guy out there?" And she turns around like,
No, you're like, who's that? Because you never heard a joke before.
yeah, she's like, "What?"
She kept looking like,
Crockett,
what? Did you look
You're
again?
such a dick.
That's the scary thing that
It's so funny. Though.
It was so funny. I laughed right in her face.
Fuck it
Want to
up.
wrap up the show, Jordan?
Yeah. Yeah. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the show. We do appreciate it. Thank you for coming to our first ever Halloween special show. Hope you liked all our costumes. Me as Kaneki, Tay as a ninja, Colin as a caveman, and Bryan as a pervert.
That's why you can't see his screen right now.
Yeah, so he got his pants down.
I'm commandoing it right now.
Is it left or right foot?
It might be in
Good thing I don't have a backyard anymore.
Oh my god.
Bryan might be in my backyard tonight.
Dude, if I had Canada, I'm taking my ninja sword out and just.
Oh, your katana, bro.
Yeah.
Cut off that big dick.
I wish that happened.
damn.
What a freak.
Bro, Tate's looking for a fight. Ever since he got that katana, man, he's gonna use cannon.
You see many trees from Mask Club. And just
It's like, the time is now. Guys, if you like this podcast, give us a big fucking like.
Yeah,
if you dislike it, give us a big dislike. If you guys want to be a part of our community, we have a Discord community now that we've been frequently updating.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're like kind of
pretty
active
good about
right
it. We just had a successful movie night where we watched the original Alien movie and then we watched Godzilla 2000. It was a lot of fun. It was like kind of like Mystery Science Theater where we just like crack jokes at the movie and shit. It was a lot of fun. We give updates and then anything we give like a bunch of exclusive content and stuff about like what's going on in the show and so I don't think we even use the shit that we post in the channel. Well, we should have talked about John's thing. Maybe next time
when it's on a Halloween show for sure.
Yeah, we should definitely do like a weird like discovery like monsters and shit podcast. That'd be a lot of fun. Guys, you can see this show on Spotify. You can see the show on Apple. Is it
Apple Podcast?
What is it called? Apple Podcasts?
Apple Podcasts, yeah.
Yeah, so we finally got it up there now. So you guys
Just
can
type in Drunken Ship Podcast. We should be the first thing to pop up on Spotify. Yeah.
But guys, do you guys have any final word? Oh, Colin, where can they find you at?
I'm on Twitter at _Space Whales and also on Twitch at MonkeyOmega.
Twitter at
Bryan, where can they find you at?
And Twitch at BryanBrowny.
Okay, Tate, where can they find you at?
Twitter./TateInfinite_.
That is it.
That's it. Guys, if you want to follow me on any of my socials, Twitter is cyber_calamity. If you want to follow me on Twitch, it's just CyberCalamity. Guys, thank you for making it for the end of the show. We'll see you next week.
Doses.
For another
November.
Barrel of Monkeys.
Yeah.
Fuck, it is.
Do a PS5 unboxing video.
Yeah, do it.
Do it.
Get it on.
Yeah,
Cool.
do it.
The 12th.
Yeah. Do something. 2 more weeks, baby.
We'll see. I wonder how long it's gonna take for my PS5 to get here because of
Same.
Target. Because Target was like, no, you're definitely not getting it on fucking day one. I'm like, oh shit. Well, at least I have it though.
Oh, Devin get an Amazon link. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. We did get an Amazon link. I was lucky. Kept refreshing the page. Warwick 64. Shout out to him.
All right,
and also
guys,
big shout out to Colin too, by the way, for doing the Discord stuff.
Oh yeah.
Discord manager. Woo!
Did a fantastic job, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, movie night was fun last night, dude.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for making it to the end of the show. We do appreciate it. We'll guys see you next week.